Well, there's opinions, there's facts, there's data, and there's anecdotes. So a fact, and I'm not going to get all wonky on the promise, but people are familiar with the letters GDP, which stands for Gross Domestic Product. It's a measure of the overall output of the U.S. It's the size of the economy, essentially. And there's a defining organization, a board, if you will, that says this is when a recession has occurred. It's called National Bureau of Economic Research. And the fact is that they have not yet said it's a recession. And the fact is that based on their definition of what a recession would be, it doesn't look like what we're in right now is a recession. The opinion by me, and not by many other people I've talked to, is that we're in a recession, have been in a recession for much of 2022. I don't know how the next few months will move, but I think anywhere from about February until last month, well, month prior actually, the last month has been actually kind of gangbusters in some ways. So I think that even if the rest of the world doesn't want to agree with my opinion, because my opinion is just opinion, it doesn't fit in with the actual definition. But the fact is that in the economic world that we do rely on the NBER to date when a recession actually does happen. But the other fact is that most of us, many of us have had the opinion, as you mentioned, that 2 quarters of contracting GDP back to back. We had one minus 1.6 in the first quarter of 2002 and minus 0.6 in the second quarter. We had that rule of thumb, simply a heuristic, but it became such a widely held opinion that to many of us that opinion became fact. But the fact is that we don't use that for an actual. So we're not going to open a textbook someday and say with the asterisk. Yeah. It's not going to have the asterisk because it won't fit the definition. I, though, do, with my opinion, say, well, it's bad enough for a recession. I don't care about your definition. I feel like it's a recession. But there's a whole lot of other opinions in terms of, and by the way, this quarter went from minus 1.6 to 0.6. We don't know this quarter yet. We won't know, but
very soon, right?
The Atlanta Fed does a good job tracking real-time data as much as you can, which is, I don't want to say worthless, but hard because they revise that numbers like months and months out. But it's like 2 plus 2.7. It's actually positive. But the opinions come, I think, in the future, like what's going to happen. And this is there's a lot of components to my opinion. And here you have a lot of different opinions in terms of like what 2023 and forward is going to look like. But whether or not we're in a recession right now, I think you can say that the economy is fragile enough that the next big shock would push the U.S. economy into a recession. And I think that next big shock is that a once heralded Fed for its transparency over the course of the last 3, 4, 5 weeks in particular, but the last 2 weeks really, have pivoted to, it can be a soft landing to like, there's going to be pain. What was it from Fed Bostic, Fed Governor Bostic? They said, deep pain. He said, I think we can avoid deep pain. And so when you hear a Fed governor say, I think we can avoid deep pain, that shifted my mind a real lot in the last couple of weeks. It actually changed a lot of our investment portfolios. So I think that the economy is fragile enough that the Fed is going to push us into something in 2023 where no longer will they say it's an Alan Harris opinion recession. It's by the metrics that we all follow and the industry uses as a definition. It is.